Introduction. Constitution. That body of rules and principles in accordance with which the powers of sovereignty are regularly exercised. It is also often referred to as the fundamental law of the land, the supreme law of the land, the God of all man-crafted laws, the litany of rights of every individual. Nature of a constitution. It is the charter creating the government. It is the supreme or fundamental law of the land as it speaks for the entire people from whom it derives its claim to obedience. It is binding on all individual citizens and all organs of government. It is a law to which all other laws must conform, in accordance with which all private rights must be determined and all public authority administered. It is the test of the legality of all governmental action, whether proceeding from the highest official or lowest functionary. Purpose of a constitution. To prescribe the permanent framework of the system of government. To assign to the different departments or branches their respective powers and duties. To establish certain basic principles on which the government is founded. To preserve and protect the rights of individuals against the arbitrary actions of those in authority. Function of a constitution. Not to legislate in detail but to set limits on the otherwise unlimited power of the legislature. Constitutional law. A branch of jurisprudence which deals with constitutions, their nature, formation and amendment, operation and interpretation. It refers to the law embodied in the Constitution as well as the principles growing out of interpretation and application made by the courts, particularly the Supreme Court, being the court of last resort, of the provisions of the Constitution in specific areas. For instance, the Philippine Constitution itself is brief, but the law of the Constitution lies scattered in thousands of Supreme Court decisions. Kinds of constitution. As to their origin and history. Conventional or enacted, one which is created by a constituent assembly or granted by a monarch to his subjects like the Constitution of Japan in 1889. Cumulative or evolved, like the English Constitution, one which is a product of growth or a long period of development originating in customs, traditions, judicial decisions, etc., rather than from deliberate and formal enactment. The above classification substantially coincides with that of written and unwritten constitutions. As to their form. Written, one which has been given definite written form at a particular time, usually by a specially constituted authority called a constitutional convention. Unwritten, one which is entirely the product of political evolution, consisting largely of a mass of customs, usages and judicial decisions together with a smaller body of statutory enactments of a fundamental character, usually bearing different dates. The English Constitution is unwritten only in the sense that it is not codified in a single document. As to the manner of amending them. Rigid or inelastic, one regarded as a document of special sanctity which cannot be amended or altered except by special machinery more cumbrous than the ordinary legislative process. Flexible or elastic, one which possesses no higher legal authority than ordinary laws and which may be altered in the same way as other laws. The written constitution. Advantage and disadvantage. It has the advantage of clearness and definiteness over an unwritten one. This is because it is prepared with great care and deliberation. Its disadvantage lies in the difficulty of its amendment. This prevents the immediate introduction of needed changes and may thereby retard the healthy growth and progress of the state. Requisites of a good written constitution. 1. As to form. A good written constitution should be brief, because if a constitution is too detailed, it would lose the advantage of a fundamental law which in a few provisions outlines the structure of the government of the whole state and the rights of the citizens. It would probably never be understood by the public. Furthermore, it would then be necessary to amend it every once in a while to cover many future contingencies. A good written constitution should be broad, because a statement of the powers and functions of government, and the relations between the governing body and the governed, requires that it be as comprehensive as possible. A good written constitution should be definite, because otherwise the application of its provisions to concrete situations may prove unduly difficult if not impossible. Any vagueness which may lead to opposing interpretations of essential features may cause incalculable harm. 2. As to contents. It should contain at least 3 sets of provisions. Constitution of government, that dealing with the framework of government and its powers and defining the electorate. Constitution of liberty, that setting forth the fundamental rights of the people and imposing certain limitations on the powers of the government as a means of securing the enjoyment of these rights. Constitution of sovereignty, that pointing out the mode or procedure for amending or revising the Constitution. Constitution distinguished from statute. A constitution is a legislation direct from the people, while a statute is a legislation from the people's representatives. A constitution merely states the general framework of the law and the government, while a statute provides the details of the subject of which it treats. A constitution is intended not merely to meet existing conditions but to govern the future, while a statute is intended primarily to meet existing conditions only, and a constitution is the supreme or fundamental law of the state to which statutes and all other laws must conform.
All information presented here have been adopted from the introductory part of the lecture notes on the 1987 Constitution of the Philippines, as compiled by Mari Chris Ondam Azul of the College of Education of TIP Quezon City. Said material is widely circulated among teachers and students in many campuses, as well as from various online sources. This video book has been prepared and presented by Review Central solely and entirely for educational purposes. No copyright infringement intended. Review Central would like to thank all the people who contributed time and resources in putting together this video book, including those who shared and contributed materials free of charge. If you find this material useful, please like and generously share to others who may also benefit from it. You can support us by subscribing to our channel and sharing our review materials in your favorite social media platforms. Thank you.